All right, what is going on, guys? Got another breakdown for UFC Vegas 50 co-main event here at Bantamweight. We got Song Yadong taking on Marlon Moraes. Song is going to have about a half-inch advantage in reach, 2 inches taller. So I guess I'll start with Marlon Moraes. Really fallen on hard times after getting his way to the top of the division in like 2019. The only win he has since 2019, February 2019, which was a win over Rafael Sunsao, who is no longer with the promotion, but he was good. But anyway, yeah, like his only win since 2019 is against Jose Aldo, and I thought it was a really bad decision. I thought Aldo clearly won 2 rounds there. He was it was pretty even on striking, but Aldo was moving forward the whole time. It really kind of shows, man. Like in a lot of these fights, they say that octagon control is supposed to matter, and like that is a clear example of a fight where they were even on striking, and somehow Moraes gets it, and he didn't have octagon control. So it was a bad decision, man. It was like even like Dana thought it was a bad decision, and then he just runs a gauntlet. Corey Sandhagen gets KO'd there. He just gets caught. Rob Font, same deal. That was a big step up fight for Rob Font. And then Marab, man, he comes out, he looks great. He has Marab hurt so bad. I don't know how he didn't get him out of there. It's really just because Marab is so tough. Marlon Moraes showed up that night, and he hurt him bad in the first round. Really poured it on. Looked more aggressive than he's ever really looked. But Marab just survives, man, and that guy's gas tank appears to be unlimited because he just in the second round just ground and pound like 100 unanswered ground and pound strikes just back to back. No signs of slowing down either. I always watch Marab's tape and I was like, he's gonna get a ground and pound knockout one of these days where he's just going to town. It's not any shot is landing like super heavy, but it's just the relentless volume of him is gonna get his opponent out of there. That's what happened to Marlon Moraes, but yeah, man, he's definitely fallen on hard times. But this is one of those dangerous fights where you might forget how good Marlon Moraes is as a mixed martial artist. He's fought at the top of the division, close fight with Aldo, almost had Marab out of there. Lost to Henry Cejudo. But we look back at the wins here. We got wins over Jimmy Rivera, who Rivera and Assunção are both two of those guys who could still be on the roster, but it's just like veterans with no path. But yeah, Aljo, John Dodson. So he's beaten top of the line competition, and he's got very good kickboxing. Good at fighting off of his back foot. Good at fighting at range. Uh, his ground game is good enough to keep him out of trouble. He does have a few wins by submission, so I think we can still say that he has the ground advantage in this fight. But I do think this fight is going to be contested on the feet, and yeah, he's one of these rangy kickboxers who, just a few fights ago I would have picked against Song Yadong. But segueing into that, the thing about Song Yadong is he's one of those fighters who he's been around for a while now. He's got a lot of fights with the UFC, but you kind of forget that he is still a developing fighter. He's only like 23, 24. I think he's 24 now. But, he's been training at Team Alpha Male for a while now, just honing in on his skill set. You can tell he's very, very serious. He already had like 20 professional fights by the time he was 20 years old. So this guy is very dedicated to his craft, and he's been training in the U.S. for a couple years now. And he comes into the UFC, picks up a couple wins, has that draw with Cody Stamann where I thought that Stamann won. There was a point deduction from Song. I think it's either a low blow or something. There was a point deduction, and I thought that because there was a point deduction, Stamann did enough. But then he picks up another controversial win against Cheeto Vera. Cheeto really thought he got robbed. I don't think it was a robbery either way. Cheeto is very fun to watch. It's one of my favorite fights if you want to get a feel for Cheeto's style, where he just kind of comes on late. And that's exactly what happened in that one. It felt like at about the halfway mark, all the momentum went to Marlon Vera, and it was a close fight. But yeah, Song Yadong gets that decision. Again, a lot of people think could have gone either way, but I think just either way you look at Song Yadong's game in that one, and it was pretty good against a guy like Cheeto that early in his career, or his UFC career, I should say. But then against Kyler Phillips, I picked Kyler Phillips in that one, and it's because of what I just alluded to. Like Song Yadong's striking style used to be very boxing based. He was kind of stationary, didn't really move his head as well as he could. But against Casey Kenny, I tried to double up on that read, but Song Yadong looked like he kind of fixed those holes in his game. he's getting much better at fighting at range, and not necessarily fighting at range. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that his stance is not nearly as square anymore. You know, he moves around a lot more, and then the power bar is also coming up. You know, Julio Arce, I had Sung Yadong in that one. The knockout prop was plus 500, crazy value. And, you know, you got a guy like this who's coming into his prime now, has a lot of fights under his belt. You do expect to see that power bar going up. So definitely the biggest win of his career with a round two knockout over Julio Arce. But there's a lot of good wins here already. Casey Kenny, Cheeto Vera, you know, just high level of competition. But if we're looking at the odds for this one, I just think that they're a little too husky. Like, I definitely favor Song Yadong in this one, but even earlier in the week when it was like minus 220, I wasn't crazy about it. I do think these are two guys trending in different directions, but it wouldn't at all surprise me if Marlon Moraes has enough left in the tank to get by Song Yadong, who still isn't a complete product. Like, you know, I'm really high on Song Yadong. I think he is going to be top five. He's going to challenge for the belt for sure, but you know, he might not be quite there yet. He might have another hurdle to get over. Wouldn't surprise me at all. If the same Marlon Moraes that showed up against Marab shows up, I think he can really present some problems for Song Yadong here. So honestly, like if I was gonna bet anybody on this fight, like a straight wager or just whatever, Marlon Moraes is probably a better value. But I do like Song Yadong to win this fight. I only used it in the extended FanDuel parlay, which I am gonna make my betting video this week. You know, I know I kind of went quick on this video and it's late, but I'm just getting right into the London card, man. Right after this, I'm going to get into Nathaniel Wood against Vince Morales, I believe. I think that's the first one I want to do. And I want to have a few uploads up by like Tuesday, Wednesday, which was the usual pace I was on before I got this new gig. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Sure, subscribe. And